Hey Reddit, this is a burner account and all names have been changed for privacy. I need to get this off my chest before I completely lose my mind. So I'm sitting here in my empty apartment in Houston, staring at the rain hitting my window, the sound echoing through the rooms that used to be filled with her laughter. I'm watching droplets race down the glass, just like my life racing down the drain. I messed up big time, and I'm not sure if I can fix it. My hands are still shaking as I type this. Me and Alyssa had been together for 2 years. We met at a friend's barbecue in Memorial Park. She spilled her drink on my new shoes and spent the next 20 minutes apologetically dabbing at them with napkins. I thought it was cute. We were that couple everyone thought would make it. The ones who finished each other's sentences and had all these little inside jokes. I mean, we had our ups and downs like anybody, but I really thought she was the one. I'd even started looking at rings. About a month ago, this new girl, Vanessa, started working in my department. Tall, confident, with this infectious laugh that carried across the entire office. I didn't think much of it at first. Just another coworker, right? But then I started noticing how she laughed at my jokes a little too enthusiastically. How she'd always managed to sit near me during lunch. How she'd text me about work stuff after hours. Messages that seemed to stretch beyond professional courtesy. I felt this weird pull toward her. Not love or anything deep, just curiosity, I guess. Like an itch I couldn't scratch. I started wondering what it would be like to be with someone else. What would Vanessa's apartment look like? What movies would she enjoy? It was just thoughts at first, I swear. Just harmless daydreams during boring meetings. Then last Monday, I did something really stupid. Something that makes my stomach churn even now as I type this. I wrote Vanessa a note, an actual handwritten note like we're in high school or something, that said, "Hey, I think you're really pretty. Coffee sometime?" And left it on her desk when nobody was looking. My heart was pounding so hard, I thought it might burst through my chest. My palms were sweaty as I placed it under her keyboard. What was I doing? I had a girlfriend I loved. But something in me just had to know if Vanessa felt the same pull. That same night, Alyssa came over to my place, wearing that green sweater I always said brought out her eyes. She seemed tense from the moment she walked in, fidgeting with her necklace, the one I gave her for our first anniversary. We ordered Thai food, but she barely touched her pad Thai, just pushing it around with her fork. Then she brought up how distant I'd been lately. She said she felt invisible. I got defensive immediately. "You're always busy with work anyway," I shot back, even though I knew it wasn't fair. One thing led to another, raised voices bouncing off the walls of my small apartment, and we decided to take a break. Not a full breakup, just some space to figure things out. When she left, she didn't kiss me goodbye, just a sad little wave from the doorway. My chest felt hollow watching her walk away. I was sad, but also relieved? Like maybe this was a sign from the universe that I should explore this thing with Vanessa. So the next day, I doubled down. I sent her a text asking if she'd found my note, suggesting a cafe near the office for Friday evening. My thumb hovered over the send button for a full minute before I pressed it. A voice in my head screaming that this was wrong. Big mistake, huge mistake. Turns out Vanessa wasn't interested at all. My phone buzzed an hour later with her reply. "This is inappropriate. I know you have a girlfriend. This makes me uncomfortable." My face burned with shame as I read it at my desk, glancing around to see if anyone noticed my embarrassment. But it got worse, so much worse. She went straight to Alyssa and showed her the note and my text. I still don't know how they knew each other. Apparently they take the same yoga class or something. Just my rotten luck. When Alyssa confronted me, showing up at my apartment unannounced that evening, my heart sank into my stomach. She stood in my doorway, clutching her phone so hard her knuckles were white. Her eyes were red and puffy, mascara slightly smudged underneath. Her voice cracked as she asked, "How could you do this to me? Was everything between us just a lie?" I stood there, speechless, watching 2 years of love crumble before my eyes like a sandcastle hit by a wave. I tried to explain that we were on a break when I sent the text, but not when I wrote the note. The words sounded pathetic even to my own ears. She didn't want to hear it. Her face contorted with a mixture of disgust and heartbreak that will haunt me forever. "A break? A break?" she screamed, her voice echoing down the hallway. "We decided on that after you already had your eye on someone else." "You were already looking to replace me." She called me a cheater, a liar, someone she didn't even recognize anymore. She paced around my living room, picking up framed photos of us and staring at them like they were from someone else's life. "We were just talking about taking space," she continued, tears streaming down her face. "Not seeing other people. And you already had someone lined up. Were there others? Have you been doing this our whole relationship?" Her questions came like bullets, each one hitting me square in the chest. I didn't have any defense. What could I say? The guilt was crushing me, making it hard to breathe. She was right. I'd betrayed her trust. But something inside me snapped. Maybe self-preservation, maybe just plain stupidity. What about all the times we took breaks before? I shot back, my voice rising to match hers. "You were sending pictures to your ex a week after we split last time. I saw them on your iPad. And talking to multiple guys at once. How is this any different?" My hands were shaking, pointing accusingly. Her face changed then, the anger draining away, replaced by something colder. "That's not the same thing at all," she said quietly, dangerously. "We were completely broken up those times. I was upfront about what I was doing. I didn't sneak around behind your back. And you said you'd forgiven me." "I did forgive you," I mumbled, the fight leaving me as quickly as it had come. "I always forgave you." I reached for her hand, but she yanked it away like my touch burned. She grabbed her jacket from the couch, the denim one with patches that I'd helped her sew on, and headed for the door. She stopped, hand on the doorknob, not turning to face me. "Well, I don't forgive you. We're done, for good this time." Her shoulders shook slightly, and I realized she was crying again. "Don't call me, don't text me, it's over." And just like that, she was gone. The door closed with a soft click that somehow hurt more than a slam would have. I stood frozen for what felt like hours, the silence of my apartment pressing against my eardrums. Then I sank to the floor and cried like I hadn't since I was a kid. Edit 1. Wow, this blew up overnight. My phone's been buzzing nonstop. Thanks for all the comments, even the ones calling me names I probably deserve. To answer some questions, no, I haven't tried contacting Vanessa again. That bridge is thoroughly burned, reduced to ashes, and scattered to the winds. I'm not that stupid. Some people are asking if I knew Vanessa was friends with Alyssa. I had no idea they knew each other at all. Apparently, they take the same yoga class at that studio near the Galleria. Just my luck. The universe has a sick sense of humor sometimes. Update 6 days later. It's been almost a week since everything went down. My apartment feels like a mausoleum. I've been sleeping on the couch because the bed reminds me too much of her. I can still smell her perfume on the pillowcase. Alyssa came by to get the rest of her stuff yesterday. She brought her brother Mike with her, probably to make sure I didn't try anything. It was awkward and painful. She barely looked at me, just methodically packed her books, her favorite coffee mug, the plants she'd been nursing back to health. I tried to talk to her to explain myself better, but she just said, "Save it for someone who cares," in this hollow voice I'd never heard from her before. I feel like I've been punched in the gut every hour of every day. I miss her so much it's a physical ache. The worst part is seeing stuff on social media. She's already posting about toxic people and knowing your worth. Everyone knows she's talking about me. Our mutual friends are choosing sides. Texts have stopped coming in. Invitations have dried up. Most are with her, which I understand. I'm the bad guy in this story, the villain in her rom-com. I saw a group photo from Jamie's birthday party that I wasn't invited to. Alyssa was there, smiling, surrounded by friends. It shouldn't hurt this much to see her happy, but it does. Update. 2 weeks later, I told Josh, my best friend since high school, everything that happened. He came over and just let me talk until 3 a.m. He was honestly the first person who didn't immediately judge me. He said we all make mistakes, and while what I did was wrong, it doesn't make me a monster. That helped a little. For a few hours, I felt almost normal. I've been going to therapy. My therapist has this way of asking questions that makes me really think. She says I need to understand why I was looking for validation outside my relationship, why I was willing to risk something real for something unknown. She thinks maybe I was self-sabotaging because things were getting serious with Alyssa, that I got scared of forever. Could be true, I don't know. All I know is that I hate myself right now. Alyssa blocked me on everything. It's probably for the best. I tried to send her one last apology text before I found out I was blocked. It just sat there, undelivered. Sometimes I still dream about her, about us, what might have been, but then I wake up and remind myself that I ruined that future with my own hands. The biggest lesson I learned? Trust is like glass. Once it's broken, you can try to piece it back together. Take it from someone who learned the hard way. That brings us to the end of today's story. I want to thank you all for listening to this painful confession about trust, mistakes, and the consequences that follow. Your support allows us to continue bringing these Reddit stories to life. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to smash that like button. It truly helps our channel reach more people. And if you want to hear more stories like this one, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon for notifications whenever we post new content. Now, I'm curious to hear from you. Have you ever been in a situation where you had to decide whether to forgive someone who betrayed your trust? Or have you been the one asking for forgiveness? Share your experiences in the comments below. Your story might help someone else who's going through something similar right now. Until next time.